What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode on the Life is Huncho YouTube channel. It's your host, the one and only Hugh Huncho, on the mic today, man. And by the title of the video, right, we're gonna be dropping some knowledge, some sauce, some game on exactly what it takes to become a profitable trader in 2026. Okay, so the first thing for new traders to know, for them to become profitable, is to understand that your strategy, no matter what kind of strategy it is, it's never perfect, right? There is no strategy that is 100%. So you have to understand, you don't need the perfect strategy to become profitable. You need a strategy well enough that gives you an edge in the market where over a series of trades, right, over a long period of trades, you are net positive. You are winning more than you're losing, right? A strategy that at least has a 70 to 80% win rate, right? For you to develop or have that strategy, you either have to have a lot of time in the market, right? Studying charts, studying market patterns, studying different times and different times of the day and price, or you can say skip steps, cut that learning curve and get a mentor and learn how their strategy works. The only issue with this is that not all mentors are built the same and not all strategies are built the same. You might need to take some time, go through a couple of mentors, right? A couple of different course materials to find a strategy that fits your personality very, very well. And what I mean by this is that some people are impatient, right? Some people don't want to be in trades for hours or days at a time. And some people have all the patience in the world and they prefer to hold their trades for a couple of days, a week. I don't know any position traders, so I don't know anybody holding their trades over months, but there are people who trade like that. So you have to kind of first know yourself well enough to kind of figure out what strategy fits you best. And then once you find that strategy, stick with it. Don't hop from strategy to strategy, which a lot of traders do, just due to the fact that, again, like I said, no strategy is perfect. So you might have a strategy that was consistently making you money, that was winning, but maybe that strategy dries up a little bit. Maybe the market condition isn't ideal for that particular strategy or that particular, you could say, edge in the market. But what some traders do is that they start doubting themselves, they start doubting their strategy, and before you know it, they try and look for the next best thing. And in reality, it doesn't matter whether you're trading ICT, it doesn't matter whether you're trading institutional, it doesn't matter if you're trading price action, technicals, whatever it is. No strategy is gonna work 100% all the time, right? That's just not how the market works. If the market was like that, everybody would be making money from it, from my mom to my grandmother to, goddamn it, maybe my cousins, but unfortunately that's not the case, right? Second is that risk management is going to make or break you. And what I mean by this is that, okay, let's say you developed or found a good strategy that works for you, right? However, you're terrible at managing your risk, right? Let's say you get on a trade and that trade is perfect, but you don't size properly. You will end up hurting and possibly destroying your account just because you over leverage, right? Or you might end up winning the trade, but because you leverage too light, you put too little risk on the trade, now you're not really making any progress on hitting your goals, passing any challenges, getting funded, whatever your goal is, because you risk too low. You have to understand the perfect balance between over leveraging and under leveraging. And risk management is what breaks more traders than the technicals, than learning the strategy, right? It's risk management, and the reason why is because, like I said, right, a trade can make or break you, but if you're not in the markets long enough, right, to actually see if your strategy works on an extended period of time, of course trading is going to be hard for you. Of course you're going to be more likely to quit. That's why you want to risk small enough that even if you lose consecutively a few times, you're still have enough capital, you still have enough wiggle room to stay in the market. You're still able to be here for the long run, compared to if you over leverage, right? You might make a lot of money, but then if you do that same thing on the next trade and you lose, then you might be back at square one, right? And you're kind of back and forth in this endless cycle of making profit and giving it away. Or you might end up making a lot of money and then losing it, and then because you made so much money very quickly and you lost it so fast, now your emotions getting tied, so you end up revenge trading and wiping even more profits that you didn't need to give up to the market. So understanding that when it comes to risk management, sometimes you want to do a lot of small wins, right, until you can build up that account, build up that little buffer, build up that wiggle room to then start increasing your leverage, increasing your lot sizes a little bit, and start making bigger gains. But you won't get there if you're not willing to be happy and satisfied with the small wins, right? I always like to bring this to sports. You have to think about it, right? You can't be out here shooting three-pointers and half-court shots if you don't know how to make a consistent layup, right? So practice at the layups. Get really, really good at the layups. Get really good at the finger roll. Get really good at the behind-the-back layup, right? Whatever it is. And then before you know it, you're gonna be able to start stepping back out, doing those mid-ranges, doing those three-point shots. Understand that your job isn't to make as much money as possible today. Your job is to make sure you're still able to trade and be here tomorrow. Third key point, right, that helped me make that pivot from unprofitable to profitable is understanding that the industry that you're in, trading is boring. Consistency is boring. Honestly, I think any industry that you're in long enough gets boring, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Kobe Bryant, right, all those long late night practices, it got to a point where he's like, man, this shit kind of sucks, right? I'm doing a bunch of three-point shots, right? I'm practicing all these different moves. Nobody's in the gym here with me. It probably gets boring at a period of time, but boring is where you breed the beast, right? Boring is where you make that shift and start not only becoming less emotionally attached to trading, but less emotionally attached to the outcome as well. You have to think about it, right? When it comes to trading, it's different than any other industry. You're trading the same market, the same pair, the same time, the same session, right? Probably at the same desk, right? Probably wearing the same clothes at the same time of day, every day. So a lot of those things become monotonous. A lot of those things become the same thing that you see every single day. So yeah, it can definitely get boring, but that's, like I said, where you're breeding the beast. A lot of times, right, the excitement that people find in trading that draws them to them is the exact excitement that hurts them when they're in the markets, right? So you have to kind of have a healthy level of excitement, right, when it comes to trading, and get to a point where that excitement doesn't rule you, it doesn't cripple you, it doesn't make you afraid, and it also doesn't make you too anxious when you're trading. Another key point is that you have to become comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable with the losses. I'm not saying like them, I'm not saying accept them, but comfortable understanding that losses are a part of the game and that not every loss is a terrible thing, right? Sometimes you might do everything perfect, right? You might chart up properly, you might execute, you might get into the exact same setup that you want to, and you still lose. But guess what? You did everything correct, and all that was data. A lot of times when you're losing, right, it's not really a loss, it's a lesson. Maybe you shouldn't have gotten so early. Maybe this wasn't the right market conditions for it. Maybe there was something about this trade that you could have done that could have either made you avoid it or could have had it played out better. So a lot of times those losses are actually data that you need to collect to do better next time, right? Understand that you are in the industry, and understand that when you're trading, you are an entrepreneur, you are a business owner, you are working for yourself. And every business, there's losses. You see what I'm saying? There's business expenses. You should see trading and your losses in the same exact way, right? Business expenses, data that you're collecting to learn how to do your process better next time. All right, so understanding and accepting the losses and not becoming emotionally attached to them is important, because if you become emotionally attached to the losses, right, and you try to avoid losses by all costs, any means, then you're going to start affecting your trades unintentionally more than you need to, right? You're going to start moving your stop losses, you're going to start cutting profits early, you're going to start revenge trading, right? Just because, you know, you're so afraid of seeing the red, right? And understand that red is a part of the journey. And that brings me to my fifth point, right? That emotions aren't the problem when it comes to trading, right? Obeying those emotions is the problem, right? If you read this book, The Mental Game of Trading, they talked about how sometimes your emotions are actually indicators and they're supposed to actually help you and guide you in your trading. However, right, if you're listening to your emotions, right? Listening to greed, listening to fear, listening to FOMO, and acting on that each and every single time, right? Then of course you're gonna hurt yourself, right? You have to find a healthy balance of skepticism, right? Is what I like to say. That when you're trading, you have to be very skeptical of the trade, right? Not fearful, not anxious, but very skeptical. Like, hey, this could play against me, so let me be more mindful of what I'm doing, right? When you win a trade, you have to have healthy optimism, right? Like, okay, wow, I did really good on that trade. What did I do well? What could I have maybe improved on? And how can I make sure that I duplicate this next time, right? Then to be, oh my God, I'm so excited, right? Like, I won that, like I'm the shit, I'm the bee's knees. Because when you get too excited and get too confident and too big-headed, that's when your ego creeps in and you start making rookie and unnecessary mistakes, right? The sixth point is understanding that you have to have rules that eliminate decision-making, right? So much to the point where trading kind of has to become a little bit robotic in a way, right? When you see this, you do this. When you see this, you don't do this, right? And keep it clear, cut, crystal. for me, I trade a lot of price action, right? I trade a lot of candlestick anatomy. So when I see a candle do a certain type of candlestick pattern or formation, I guess you can also say that I've had a lot of time. It's a plane, kind of interrupting the video a little bit, but let's keep going, right? So for me, you could also say that I've kind of had a lot of time in the market as well, to the point where I've seen these candlestick patterns enough for me to feel very confident when they form or when they're about to form, right? So for me, if I see a bullish engulfing or a bearish engulfing or a particular kind of pattern, there's not too much second guessing that I should do, right? It's either I'm getting in or I'm not getting in, right? And if I get in, I'm accepting that risk. I'm accepting that I decided to put this trade on, and I'm going to let it do what it's due. If the trade start giving me indications or signs that it's not going my favor or that it could possibly be a fake out, I'm gonna close out the trade, right? I'm gonna make it a quick decision. And the reason why is because you want to stop the bleeding early, right? Because at the end of the day, with trading, it's not like something that shackled you to the chart. You can always close out the trade and get into the trade again. But if you stay in the trade, right, and you end up losing more than you need to, then you're gonna now have to deal with not only the emotional loss of the money, right, but also the mental battle of not sticking to your rules, right, or not making a quick decision, kind of allowing yourself to suffer, right? And a lot of times that might beat your confidence up more than if you were to just close the trade and you were close the trade early and you were to be wrong and kind of go in your direction. Now at least you know that your initial thought process was correct. You just had to have a better entry or have a little bit more patience. Right, and now the last couple of points that we have, right, this is really on the interpersonal side, right? Stop measuring yourself by today's P&L, right? Meaning if you win today, you're having a good day. If you lost today, you're in a bad mood for the rest of the day. You have to understand, when it comes to trading, wins and losses are a part of the game. And you cannot let the wins and losses dictate your mood for the entire day. And the reason why I say that is because if you do that, it's gonna linger into the next day, it's gonna linger into other areas and aspects of your life, it's gonna linger into how you view yourself confident-wise, right? You have to understand that if you lost today, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad trader. If you won today, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good trader either, right? You could have got pretty lucky, which a lot of people do, right? Understand that your P&L is just data on where you are so far right now in your trading account. That's all it is, right? That's all it is. If it's down, that means you're down $200. If it's up, you're up $200. Stop focusing so much on the P&L and focusing on your execution to achieve or get that P&L, right? What did you do to make that $400? What did you do to lose that $200? Focus on that, not the amount of money that you lost, right? Because if you focus on what you did correct, you're only gonna focus on and only see the good things in your strategy, the good things that you do. But if you focus on where you were incorrect, where you were wrong, you find rooms and areas where you can adjust, where you can take a step back and tell yourself like, hey, you could have done this better, now seeing what you did wrong. And to that point, right, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust that you're gonna make the right decision, even when you make the wrong decision. You have to trust your strategy, even when it's not working. You have to trust that this is the career and the path in the industry that you want to be in, because you're going to be doing it for a while, right? Trading gets you the type of level of income that doctors, athletes, right, celebrities can possibly make. But you got to think about it. Doctors take 20 years. Some of these celebrities, they're unknown for a while before they become famous, right? Or get their big break, right? And so it takes time, right? You're in an industry that definitely takes time to develop those skills. So understand that and trust yourself in the process. Self-trust comes from keeping promises to yourself as well, right? It's keeping those promises to yourself. If you say that you're only gonna trade 2 times today, only trade 2 times today. If you just won a couple of trades and you say you're not gonna trade today, do not trade today. If it's a holiday or it's something, you got a lot of things going on with the family and you won't be able to sit down and focus and you told yourself you're not gonna trade, then do not trade. And the reason why I say this is because I've had that experience where I've told myself, man, I've just won 5 in a row. I don't really need to trade today. It's Memorial Day, whatever, it's a holiday. Like, at the end of the day, I don't really need to be in the market. I see a setup, I get into the setup, I get faked out, and I lose I lose almost like 3 trading days of profits just because I didn't listen to my initial thought process. I didn't listen to my initial intuition, right? Your intuition is very, very key. It's very, very important. You have to keep and follow those promises that you make to yourself. If you say you're not gonna revenge trade, or that's what you're working on this week, then put that on a sticky note on your monitor or whatever the case may be, and make sure that's what you work on this week to not revenge trade. And to some of our last bullet points, right? Trading is one thing that I love a lot, right? And the reason why is because it exposes who you are, right? Understand what I mean by this. It exposes who you are. If you're impatient, you're gonna be impatient in the market. If you're undisciplined, it's gonna show up when you're trading, right? If you have huge ego, the market is going to expose that and it's gonna show up in your trading, right? You're either gonna beat yourself down or you're gonna boost yourself up. And either way, it's not healthy. So the market doesn't just test your strategy, it exposes your habits. And there's a good thing to this, right? You can take a step back, right? Use discernment, maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Use discernment and kind of figure out what are the kinks in your armor, what are the attributes or the aspects of your personality that you need to work on to become better at trading, right? That's a really good thing because you also get to personally grow and develop as an individual while also growing as a trader. There's not a lot of career paths, there's not a lot of industry. I don't think there's any career path for industry. Well, let me not say any, but there's very few career paths in industry that promotes personal development and personal growth. And as a result, you also make more money and become better at what you're doing, right? Sales is another one. See what I'm saying? Technology, working in the right field, that's another one as well. So understand, right, with all of these points, that profitability is the result of doing these things. It's not the goal. You're gonna achieve it and you're gonna hit it regardless, but profitability only becomes the result of all of these things, implementing all these things, controlling your emotions, understanding your risk management, realizing that your strategy is not gonna be 100% all the time, trusting in yourself to make the right decision the first time, and making those quick decisions when you see or don't see what you're looking for. So understand that because profitability is the result and not the goal, instead of waking up thinking, I need to make $500 today, I need to pass this challenge today, I need to prove to these people that this works today, right? Instead, you need to think, I need to execute my system correctly today, right? I need to follow my rules to a T until I see the results of it. And then now I have data to adjust. Understand that you can't control if the trade wins or loses, but you can control your execution. You can control how much money you put on the trade. You can control whether you made smart decisions, whether you controlled your emotions, whether you controlled your risk, right? Those are the things that you can control. So try to not focus too much on what you can't control and focus primarily on all of the aspects and the things that you can't control. And with that being said, this is the start of a trading psychology series, right? This is episode number 1, what it takes to truly become profitable in 2026. I hope you enjoyed the video. Till the next time, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Send this to another trader that you know is struggling to become profitable. Hopefully it might help them. And if this video found you, I'm excited to see you in the next one. And with that being said, I'm Hugh Huncho, and I'm out.